The JV title is at stake for both schools this morning. Then later on this afternoon, we will bring you the Division II title game and, of course, the Mayor's Cup Championship with the Redskins and the Lumberjacks. Tupper Lake comes in with just one loss on the season. That loss to Peru. Saranac Lake, typical run-of-the-mill season for them, Zach. They're undefeated.
Yeah, but a couple years back, it was the Tupper Lake team who did give the JVs a run for their money. Of course, they did end up winning. And they broke the streak, the Saranac Lake JV winning streak for 4 years in a row.
And that is the last loss that Saranac Lake has suffered. In fact, it's like Yogi Berra would say, deja vu all over again. Same thing happened 2 years ago. Tupper Lake went down to Peru. They lost. They had one loss on their record. Then they closed out the regular season right here at Len Perry Field, and they were able to defeat the Saranac Lake Redskins and take home the JV title.
Well, how was the weather 2 years ago?
Actually, I think some of the fans have said the same thing. It was snowy, it was wet, it was cold, it was unpredictable.
I think we're going to be looking at a little bit of problems due to weather conditions today. A little less passing, a little more fumbling.
I think you're right. I think we're going to see the ball on the ground quite a bit. As you see out in the middle of the field, the coin toss. Saranac Lake did win the coin toss, and they will receive to start things in the first quarter. How it works is, despite the fact Tupper Lake does have the one loss to Peru, it is the head-to-head matchup that determines the tiebreakers. So if Tupper Lake is fortunate enough to beat Saranac Lake, they would win the JV title. And of course, if Saranac Lake wins this game, they're undefeated, and they automatically clinch the JV crown.
One more year in a row.
So we're getting set to go. Len Perry Field, and this is just an excited crowd. It's going to be building throughout the day. I was coming in Route 3 from Saranac Lake, and as I'm reaching Tupper Lake, I see the banners, the posters, the balloons, and all the flyers out wishing the Tupper Lake congratulations on the Class D title and of course, the win over Saranac Lake today.
They certainly went all out for this one. Anyone who drove over could see them. They were all over the place on both sides of the road.
How did you like playing in a game like this?
I hated it. It is cold today. It's rough. The linemen are going to be having a lot of difficulty out there today. They got their fingers digging right into the snow and the cold dirt, and it is painful.
All right, let's take a break, Zach, and join the playing of the national anthem. We're getting set. You can hear the excitement in the air. Obviously, the snow is falling as well. But for the first time in a long time, Zach, there really is excitement with Tupper Lake football. After this game, next season, they're going to be moving to the LP Quinn Elementary School, and they're going to play under the lights.
I wasn't aware of that. It's always exciting when you can get a team under the lights. It builds the esteem of the team, and it really gets them going. It's a lot more fun to play under the lights.
This program that's been struggling since it's been a part of the CVAC. It did have some success in the old NAC conference, the Northern Athletic Conference. The varsity team, and we'll make mention of this right now, has not beat Saranac Lake since the two squads joined the CVAC. But it's an up-and-coming program. JV team has been doing very well for the last couple of years, and now they've come up to the varsity ranks. The same team that defeated the Saranac Lake JVs 2 years ago. They're now the Class D titleists. So this program has some good things to look forward to in the next couple of years.
It certainly does.
Well, we're getting set for the opening kickoff. The Redskins will receive, and they'll kick it up to the up back. Advances it to the 40. to the 45, and finally knocked to the ground. That's Nathan Gagne, number 26. The Redskins, 1st and 10 from just outside midfield.
And of course, the Tupper Lake Lumberjacks playing very smart football right from the first kickoff, being very aware that the Saranac Lake JVs, well, and the varsity, both have been having incredible play on special teams this season and have returned quite a few touchdowns on the kickoff return teams and the punt return teams, so they give them an onside kick.
From the Redskins 43, it is 1st down and a 10. The Redskins will work from the I formation, double tight end set. Chris Lapierre is the quarterback, and the tailback is Roberts. They're going to send a man in a motion. That is Finnegan. Roberts up the middle. Roberts met at the line of scrimmage. He's going to try to push forward to close to midfield. He'll pick up about 4 on that carry. 2nd down and 6 for the Redskins.
Number 33, Jason Fuller.
It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to work. This field is very wet. Not as bad as they said in past years. It's going to be interesting how it plays at the line of scrimmage if, in fact, the Redskin lines, both offensively and defensively, can hold their blocks.
It's true, and you got to remember the ground is not frozen, so it's wet and it's sloshy and it is slippery out there.
And that ball is going to be slippery as the morning and afternoon wears on. Out of the I formation once again in motion. That is Finnegan. He'll go back to the left-hand side. Lapierre gives it to Burns up the middle, and Burns is stopped short of midfield at the 49-yard line. He only picks up a yard on that carry. That tackle was made by number 30. That's Brendan Hayes on the stop. They'll push the ball just on the Tupper Lake side of the 50-yard line. 3rd down play coming up. 3rd down and a 4 for the Redskins. I don't think we're going to see the ball in the air that much.
I'm not sure we'll see it really at all. I see maybe 3 times all game. That's my guess.
Lapierre leads the Redskins to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down play. 3rd down and 3 from the 50. In motion is Tommy Finnegan. They're going to give it to Roberts. Roberts trying to bull his way towards the 1st down. Maybe his second effort will get him close. And the officials say yes. He did pick up the 3 yards that he needs, and it's a 1st down for the Redskins.
For the Redskins from the 45-yard line of the Lumberjacks.
From the Lumberjack 45, it is 1st and 10, Saranac Lake. Crowd beginning to file in. We're going to be having a heck of a time trying to pick up these 1st down markers with the way the snow is falling, and imagine this turf is going to be torn up.
Those lines are camouflage out there.
Wishbone formation with Burns, the fullback. They give it off to Finnegan, and that is off tackle close to the 40-yard line.
Number 25 for the
He is going to pick up 5 on the carry. 2nd down and 5 for Finnegan on his first carry. It's a play the Redskins have used very well, that off tackle on the left side. So it's coming up from Saranac Lake. Saw some blue sky for a little bit. Thought it was going to clear. Then about a half hour later, the snow began to fall. It's coming down pretty good here at the Kinbury Field. Now they give it to Roberts. Roberts off tackle left side again. Hurdles 1 tackle, and he's down close to the 25-yard line. Big play by Roberts. That's a gain of 13 yards.
Not just good strong running, but a nice little leap on that one, enabling him to gain the yardage that he did make on that play, getting them the 1st down that they needed.
They're going to mark it just outside the 25-yard line. So it's a gain of 14 yards. 1st down play coming up. 1st down and 10 for the Redskins from Tupper Lakes. We're going to call it the 26-yard line. Burns is a fullback, and they'll work at the Burns up the middle. He'll try to fight his way for a couple of yards, and that stop was made by Tim Arsenal, number 42.
Picked up on 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
On the Lumberjacks 24-yard line, 2nd down and 8.
25-yard line.
So far, a pretty impressive drive for Saranac Lake. They've taken off just about 4 minutes off the clock. And they've kept the ball on the ground, running it off tackle left side or up the middle with Burns. 2 wide receivers on the left-hand side. Macy is the wide out. Lapierre gives it to Roberts. Roberts, right-hand side, trying to turn the corner. Breaks free from 1 tackle. He's got 1 man to beat into the end zone. Did he or did he not? That's Jason Fuller with the tackle, and they're going to put Roberts just outside the 1-yard line for the Redskins. It is 1st down and goal to go.
And it'll be 1st down and goal.
Jason Fuller made the touchdown saving tackle for Tupper Lake.
Across the 1-foot line.
And just outside the 1 foot line. First down and goal to go for the Saranac Lake Redskins. I would imagine nothing fancy up here, something up the middle, probably Matt Burns, the fullback, out of the wishbone.
Yeah, Burns has been successful all year. You're always safe giving it to Burns up the middle.
This drive began on the Redskins' 43-yard line. Brandon Macy now lines up as the tight end on the right-hand side. We've seen Burns as the fullback. And they'll give it to Burns up the middle. Did he get in? Yes, he did. A 1-yard run for the Saranac Lake Redskins. It is 6-0 Redskins, 5:14 to go in the opening quarter.
Saranac Lake scoring early and keeping the clock running, which is a smart thing to do. You want to run down the clock, not have too many timeouts. You don't want to get too cold on the sidelines or in the huddles. You want to keep moving and keep the play going.
That drive took 4 minutes and 44 seconds to complete. It measured 57 yards. Burns, the 1 foot or the 1-yard touchdown run. The Redskins are on the board. And with conditions like this, I got to imagine Saranac Lake's going to try for the 2-point conversion. And they are going to set up for the 2-point conversion. They'll try to run it up the middle once again.
Fumble.
And they fumble the football. Macy picks it up, and he scores on the 2-point conversion. The handoff was for Ryan Roberts. Actually, that is Chris Lapierre, number 13, with a fumble recovery and the 2-point conversion. It is 8-0, the Redskins over Tupper Lake.
And so for the first time this game, we will see the Tupper Lake Lumberjacks receiving the ball. It certainly is. This is once a year you get like this. This is the game you're always looking forward to, I guess.
This is it. Stay tuned for the varsity contest. Burns in the air. He's going to let it bounce to Fuller. Fuller from the 16-yard line scoops it up to the 20, to the 25. Now he's finally chased down and pushed out of bounds by Burns, the kicker. Down at the line of scrimmage. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but second down, the power I formation. They give it to Arsenault once again. He is met at the line of scrimmage. Sean Rowe, number 71, with a stick for the Saranac Lake Redskins. 39 coming up for Tupper Lake. Oh, there was nothing there in Rowe. He just took care of his blocker and met Arsenault right at the line of scrimmage. Big time hit. Crowd beginning to file in. We'll see a much bigger crowd for the varsity game. That one will determine the Division II title in the CVAC, as well as who's going to take home the Mayor's Cup for a year.
There really is an impressive crowd here, though. You don't see as much support usually for the JV games as the varsity, but
Hayes in motion. They'll pitch it out to Fuller. Fuller trying to turn the corner. Fuller unable to turn the corner. There's a flag down on the play. This one may be a holding against Tupper Lake. At the time and where that flag was thrown, it's usually the indication it would be holding. Officials are talking with Scott Cheney of the Redskins.
Tupper Lake bringing their punt team onto the field.
A legal procedure against the Tupper Lake Lumberjacks. And the Redskins are going to decline the penalty, bringing up 4th down. Well, for Fuller, he lost 2 on that carry, but the play was still for naught with the illegal procedure penalty. Roberts back deep, as well as Burns for the Redskins. Eric Whitman set the kick from at his own 20-yard line. There's the snap, a high one, brings it down. Left-footed kicker, it's going to take a bounce. And the Redskins are just going to let it bounce, and Tupper Lake will down it at the Finnegan, wide receiver on the left-hand side, Macy on the right-hand side. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. That's Roberts. Roberts got a big hole as he follows his tackle to the 40, to the 45, and he stopped at midfield. That is Jason Ham with the tackle for Tupper Lake.
And a great block on Saranac Lake's part to get him that extra yardage that he needed.
Roberts is going to do very well at the next level. He's got a lot of speed. I still say he's got to maybe punish the tackler a little bit more. He runs straight up and down. That's something he's going to learn at the varsity level, but he certainly got the speed, and he's got the knowledge to read the holes.
He certainly does. He read that block incredibly well, made probably an extra 5-10 yards off of it.
Macy Finnegan, the wide receivers. That's Burns up the middle. Redskins have been successful. Burns fighting for the extra yardage as he crosses the 45. That's a gain of 5. Second down and 5, Redskins.
Tupper Lake not doing as well as they could here in the game, but they are playing incredibly smart football. You see them going for Burns' hands on that. They know that this ball is cold and this weather is nasty on the fingers. They're reaching for that ball, and they're hoping he's going to drop it.
That ball is hard, and that ball is slick.
It certainly is.
Macy now the tight end on the right-hand side. Wishbone formation. Burns is the fullback. Finnegan, Roberts, the tailbacks. That is Finnegan. Finnegan off tackle. Finnegan for maybe a yard. Craig Roberts makes the tackle for Tupper Lake.
First Lumberjack to make a hit was number 88, Craig Roberts.
So third down and 6, no gain for Finnegan on the carry from the Lumberjack 44-yard line. The Redskins offense is doing exactly what they want to do. The 1-2 punch with Roberts and Burns, and every once in a while throw Finnegan into the mix and keep the ball on the ground and eat as much time off that clock as possible. Finnegan, wide receiver on the right side, Macy on the left-hand side. That is Roberts. Roberts on the left-hand side. He'll have a first down and a little bit more and stopped at the Lumberjack 35-yard line.
Still gaining 2 yards after 2 tacklers were on him. We've had some very strong running despite the weather today.
That time, Roberts put his shoulder down, his right shoulder down, and fought for that extra yardage.
Well, he's listening to you, John.
Nah, I doubt that. If he is, he's not going to be very successful. From the Lumberjacks at 35, 1.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Punishing style of football at the line of scrimmage for the Redskins. It's resulted so far in an 8-0 lead. That's Finnegan up the middle. Finnegan is going to pick up 6, maybe 7 yards on the carry.
And off to number 25. On the stop, number 35.
These 2 drives to open up this game for Saranac Lake, they have been impressive. From the Lumberjack 25-yard line, they're going to give him 8 on the carry, 2nd and 2, Redskins.
Coach Hayden, of course, he's trying to hope to get a couple more scores on the board. He wants to shuffle up his backs and his quarterbacks. This is not the ideal weather for their hands. It's really rough on them for this.
Power eye formation, Saranac Lake. They give it to Roberts. Roberts tries to hurdle the line of scrimmage and pick up that first down. It's going to be close. See where the officials mark it. In the officials mark it, first down territory, move the chains 10 yards. And for the Redskins, 1st and 10 from the Lumberjack 24. And once the chains are set, the clock will continue to roll. We're down to the final 30 seconds of the opening quarter. Second offensive series for Saranac Lake. Macy, the wide receiver, on the left side. They'll hand it off up the middle. That is Burns. Burns is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Maybe fell forward for a yard. Jason Fuller makes the tackle, number 33 for Tupper Lake.
Number 33, Jason Fuller.
Fuller's got 4 tackles so far.
He's playing a good, strong game.
That's the way the first quarter is going to come to a close. And Saranac Lake leads by a score of 8-0.
Team coming out, they got a lot of community support behind them, and that was a good win for Tupper Lake.
You know, think about Tupper Lake this year. They learned how to win. They had the double overtime win over Mariah. They had a scrape to get that win against Plattsburgh. They had a comeback in week number 1 against Ticonderoga. For a team that for a number of years maybe didn't have the confidence that they needed to be successful, they finally learned how to win this year as they gained it off the Roberts of Saranac Lake. Roberts is knocked to the ground, but he's going to pick up a first down, and at the Lumberjack 12-yard line, it's 1st down and 10 Redskins.
Of course, Saranac Lake JV's not having much challenge at all in their wins. Not as many exciting games this season as we'd like, but they have been winning.
Well, Coach Hayden likes it that way.
Well, it's less stressful. Much less stressful.
From the Lumberjacks 13-yard line, 1st and 10, Saranac Lake. Lapierre under center, sets up the wishbone formation. Once again, double tight end set. Macy is on the right side. As they hand it off to Finnegan. Finnegan is knocked down inside the 5-yard line. Maybe close to a first down. He picked up at least 9 yards on the carry.
Not quite a first.
Not quite a first. 2nd down and 1 Saranac Lake, and Tupper Lake decides that they want to call a timeout. And I think it's a wise timeout right now.
Why not? Beat.
Second down, 1, Saranac Lake. From the Lumberjacks, 70-yard line, out of the wishbone formation. Lapierre looks over the defense. Tupper Lake stuffing the line of scrimmage. Wishbone formation. That is Finnegan. Finnegan is stopped at the line of scrimmage. A shoestring tackle made by Brendan Hayes. Did Finnegan reach the first down marker? Yes, he did. First down and goal to go. Redskins from the Lumberjack 4.
First down and goal from the 1-yard line for the Redskins.
From the Tupper Lake 4-yard line. First down, goal to go. 9:04 to go in the opening half. 8-0 Saranac Lake. They scored on their first offensive series of the game. This one just their second. Double tight end set. Lapierre. That is Roberts. Roberts is in for the 4-yard score.
On the carry, number 29, Ryan.
Tack on another 6 on the board for the Redskins, and with 8:49 to go, they lead by a pair of touchdowns over Tupper Lake.
If you take a look at Burns, number 44 there, as he walks away from the huddle, take a look at his back. You can see the mud, that he is just covered in mud, which just goes to show what we've been trying to say. It's really mucky out there. The ground is not frozen, and this snow is just melting and making it even more of a mess.
14-0 Redskins. They'll try the 2-point conversion again. Power I formation. Roberts is the tailback. Lapierre, keeper. Now he's going to pitch it out as he runs the option. Roberts caught in the backfield. The 2-point conversion fails. Jason Ham prevents the Redskins from scoring. So the score is going to stay 14-0. Redskins over the Lumberjacks. 8:49 to play in the second quarter.
Great defensive reading.
To tee it off for the Redskins. Pickering, Fuller, back deep for Tupper Lake. A 14-point advantage, 14 unanswered points. Saranac Lake on top. Here's the kick. End over end, low. It's going to be taken by the up back. That is Hayes, number 30. Hayes at the 45-yard line, and he's going to be down at his own 41-42. First and 10, Tupper Lake coming up.
I'm not even sure who tripped him up on that. That might have been his own man and a little bit of slush that tripped him up on that one.
May have gotten caught with the feet of Kelly Baker.
Little bit.
Some games were played yesterday. We'll talk about those in just a little bit.
License plate 8G2 852.
Of course, the Peru Beekmantown game a couple of weeks back there. Exciting game. A little bit of difficult, a little bit of trouble after the game, as I understand.
Yeah, I understand that. Peru faced Plattsburgh last evening, able to squeak out a win as Tupper Lake runs the ball up the middle. That is Hayes. Hayes will cross the 40. That's where he's going to be stopped. They'll pick up 1, 2nd and 9. Peru, not quite the season they had anticipated. They really never got the respect that they thought they deserved, but they didn't deserve a lot of the respect. They squeaked out a number of victories, while Beekmantown, they were able to roll through the Section 7 season and take the Class B title.
Well, they gave Beekmantown a run for their money. That was a close game.
Out of the power I formation, Tupper Lake, second down play. They'll pitch it off to Fuller. Fuller to the line of scrimmage, and Fuller's going to be pushed behind the line of scrimmage. He may lose a yard on that carry.
You can see the pursuit by Matt Burns, who of course was also just kicking the ball off, and of course has scored a touchdown on his day. He's playing quite a bit this game as well as this season.
From the Lumberjacks 31-yard line, it's a loss of 2. By the way, Macy and Burns made the tackle for the Redskins. Tupper Lake would love to pick up a first down right now. Build some confidence for the offense. Single back formation, double tight end set. You know where this is going to go, and it does. They hand it up to Hayes, up the middle. There's not a lot of option there. The Redskins can just jam the line of scrimmage, knowing that there's only one way that Hayes is going to go, and that's going to be up the middle.
Well, and they played off of that. Tupper Lake had a smart play. They didn't even do that. They had a little fake, and they gave it to, was it Fuller, number 33, to the outside. A little smart play, actually.
So fourth down and 9. Tupper Lake will be forced to kick once more.
Not a lot of success for Tupper Lake today.
Not so far, but this offense can put points on the board quickly. Roberts and Burns back deep, end over end. Burns. Burns looking to pick up the wall. He sheds one tackle on his feet at the 40, and he's going to be stopped at the Redskins 45, 1st and 10, Saranac Lake from their own 45 for Saranac Lake. Finnegan, wide receiver on the left side. Macy on the right-hand side. They'll give it to Roberts. Roberts met behind the line of scrimmage and thrown for a loss. That is Brian Tynan.
Number 29 on the carry,
Number 60.
Roberts, stop on the play.
Quite a bit of enthusiasm on the field for Tupper Lake. They had 3 tacklers in the backfield ready for the tackle. All of them right there and assisting in the backfield.
That is a loss of 2. It's the first negative game for the Redskins offense. Second and 12 from their own 40. Finnegan lines up as the wide receiver on the left side. Out of the I formation, Burns is the fullback, Roberts is the tailback. They hand it off to Burns. Burns will fall forward to the 41. 3rd and a very long 11 coming up for the Redskins.
Stop defensively for the Lumberjacks, number 44, 42.
Actually, it's going to be a 3rd and a very long 9.
30, Brendan Hayes. Picked up a 3, it'll be 3rd down and 9 for
Picked
the
up
Redskins.
about 2.5 on the carry. From the Redskins 42-yard line.
Tupper Lake getting quite a bit more serious on this drive, really holding Saranac Lake back, which is something they have not done yet this game.
They got to do it right now. The yardage favors Tupper Lake. They'll send Finnegan into motion. Now they'll send him back to the right-hand side. Lapierre runs the pitch to Roberts. Roberts looking to turn the corner, pick up a block. He picks up a big block, but he's not going to reach the first down marker, pushed out of bounds by Jason Hammond for the first time this morning. Saranac Lake may be forced to kick.
Ryan Roberts on the carry, number 30, Brendan Hayes with the initial stop.
This may be an interesting call. How much faith does Coach Hayden have in his defense?
Short
At
gain
this
on the play
point
will bring up
of the
4th down
game,
and 8 for the Redskins.
He's got a 4th down and 8, 4th down and 7. Will he kick or will he try to go for the first down? Let's see. Burns is going to drop back to kick.
Yeah, and he also has a 14-point lead to play with.
Back in front formation, number 44, that's Matt Burns.
Burns from his own 30-yard line.
Jason Fuller.
Jason Fuller back deep for Tupper Lake, and there's going to be movement on the Redskins
Right on the
offensive
play.
line as Tupper Lake tried to jam the line through a couple of the tackles offsides against Saranac Lake. So now we'll move the ball back 5 more yards, and obviously this will benefit the Lumberjacks.
Wind piercing across the field right now here
On the offense.
at the
Now
Tupper
we know
Lake
which way the
field.
wind blows.
Yes, I guess I do.
4th down and 13 for the Redskins.
So 4th down and 13. Tupper Lake will continue to punt this ball away with Fuller back deep, and he's going to have better field position. He'll probably be standing up inside his own 40. Now he's moving back to his 35-yard line. Burns asking for the snap. He's got it. Kick is up. It's going to be short. And it will take a Saranac Lake roll to the Lumberjack 35-yard line. 1st and 10 from their own 35 Tupper Lake. Go far.
I'd like to take this time to acknowledge the volunteer chain gang crew today for
1st and 10, Tupper Lake from their own 35. In the backfield is Hayes. Quarterback keeper. Pickering going to run the option. Tucks it under his arm. To the 50. Inside Saranac Lake defensive territory. What a great play and a great read by the quarterback Pickering.
As well as some great play on the Tupper Lake line on that. You could see men way back down on the field. They really knocked their men. They really had some great hits on that. It was an incredible play.
That's a gain of 16 yards. It moves the ball to the Redskins' 41-yard line. That is the longest play from scrimmage so far this morning for Tupper Lake. Roberts, the wide receiver on the left-hand side. Pickering's gonna run the pitch to Fuller. Fuller trying to fight for the extra yardage and finally brought down. Tackle made by number 66, that is Chris Kassler. He does pick up a couple. 2nd and 8, Tupper Lake.
2nd down and 8 for the Lumberjacks.
Saranac Lake putting in their 2nd touchdown and somehow getting Tupper Lake into this game. Tupper Lake really putting up much more of a fight since the second touchdown was scored. You saw them playing some incredible defense, and now they're really putting that ball downfield, which is something they have not done yet.
I formation, Arsenal the fullback. They run it again to Fuller. Fuller breaks one tackle in the backfield and picks up some positive yardage. Matt Burns makes the tackle, as well as number 61, Scott Cheney.
Shot by number 44, Matt Burns.
3rd and 6, Tupper Lake, and this is going to be a long 6 yards for the Lumberjacks.
Pick up of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 5 for the Lumberjacks.
From just outside the 35, 36-yard line, Saranac Lakes, 3rd and 6, Tupper Lake. On the sideline, Craig Roberts is limping. The wide receiver looks like he's hurt either his left ankle or his left knee. Power I formation. Pickering's going to run the option, tucks it underneath his shoulder, turns the corner, and is finally pushed out of bounds.
On the carry, number 12.
Number 26, Nathan Gagne, pushed the ball carrier out of bounds. See where they marked the football.
Picks up 5 yards.
Did he pick up the 6 or the 5 yards? He did. 6-yard gain. First down, Tupper Lake, their second of this series.
Becoming very excited. They really have got this ball back in the game. The momentum's fallen quite a bit to their side. Saranac Lake still playing a good bit of defense, but they've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the half to get a touchdown.
From the Redskins' 30-yard line, the deepest penetration. They run the pitch, Fuller. Fuller looking for room. Fuller's going to be met in the backfield. And that time, he's going to be thrown for a loss. Matt Burns, number 44, makes the tackle.
Burns so far.
Loss of 1.
That is the 3rd tackle for Burns in the game. Clock continues to roll. 2:30 to go in the opening half. 14-0 Redskins. It's going to be a loss of a couple. 2nd and 12, Tupper Lake. But they've been able to overcome situations like this in this drive, Tupper Lake. Back into the ball game. Craig Roberts looks as though he is shaken off what was ailing him. Lines up as the wide receiver, left side, power I formation. Pickering the quarterback. Pickering will give it off to Fuller. Fuller looking to throw, halfback option, and it's incomplete. The intended receiver was a Brendan Hayes, number 30, but incomplete at the Redskins 22.
And of course, that's the first time we have seen the football in the air tonight. Today, we haven't expected to see a whole lot of it. And I had predicted maybe 3 times all game, so that's 1.
That was not one of the better thrown passes we've seen.
Well, it certainly wasn't. It wasn't the quarterback either, though.
No, but I think if we see the ball in the air, we're going to see a lot of the wobbly, weak passes, and those could be dangerous. If you get a speedy Redskin secondary underneath a pass, he could return it all the way.
Which is something that exists. We do have a lot of great hands in the back of our defense.
3rd and 12, Tupper Lake. Pickering looking to pass. Pickering's got an open receiver. That was Hayes, but he overthrows him. Coverage, Ty LeClaire, Saranac Lake, and 4th down and 12, Lumberjacks.
They're trying to use that pass, which has been successful for them this year, but we don't think it's going to be very successful today, and we've been proven right twice in a row so far.
Now the wind is beginning to pick up as well.
I don't like that wind.
No, the wind is blowing clear across the field. That's going to play a little on that football too.
So it certainly will. You get that ball in the air, it's going to wobble. It's going to chill your hand as you go back to pass as well.
We'll have to see how the Saranac Lake Redskins, the varsity team, is going to adjust. They've had a very balanced offense with the run and the pass, and we'll have to see how they change their game plan with today's weather. 4th down. That is Fuller, number 33. Fuller met at the line of scrimmage, and the Lumberjacks will cough up the football on downs. 1st and 10, Redskins.
Excitement on that last drive. You give up the football now, you might just give up a touchdown.
Redskins 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line. They run it up the middle.
Stop on the play by number 30.
And the carry was made by number 44, Matt Burns. Fuller with the tackle. That's a gain of 6. 2nd down and 4 for the Redskins from their own 38. Clock still rolls. 1:20 to go in the opening half. Watching JV high school football on Adelphia Cable Channel 2. Thanks for joining us. John Lundeen, Zach Yowzy with today's call. I formation Redskins. Double tight end set. They will send Finnegan into motion to the other side. Roberts will follow the block by Finnegan. He laid a great block right there, and Roberts able to read it and follow it, and he is close to the first down marker.
Not only read the block well, but he read how well the block was made. He knew that it wasn't going to last very long. He sped up his feet to adjust, and he broke the hole just in time.
And that run will move the chain, so 4-yard run for Roberts. First and 10 to Redskins.
First down and 10 for the Redskins.
From their own 43-yard line. That was a super block. Macy, wide receiver, right-hand side. They'll move Finnegan as the slot receiver, right-hand side. Burns, Roberts in the backfield. Burns is the fullback. Roberts up the middle, sheds one tackle in the backfield. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but that was just about it. Tim Arsenal makes the tackle, as well as number 60, Brian Tynan, for the Lumberjacks.
And Saranac Lake's going to take their time setting up this last play. They've only got 20 seconds left in the half. They're just going to run the clock down.
Boy, look at Roberts' jersey. I think he's seen some ball carrying so far in the first half. His number, we're not going to be able to see it in the second.
He's seen some grass.
3, 2, I don't think Saranac Lake, yes, they will get a playoff before the end of the half. Lapierre wants to throw, back in the pocket. He's going to let it fly. He's got an open receiver, but intercepted by Fuller. Fuller will return it to the 35, now cutting across the field. He loses possession and gathers the football back up at his own 29-yard line. I believe I saw a flag thrown. I'm not sure.
They're discussing something.
When this flag was thrown, that's
against Tupper.
It is going to be against Tupper Lake. I don't believe they're going to call pass interference because the ball was underthrown, and that way the ball would be up for grabs. They're talking it over with Saranac Lake. Let's see what the call is, Zach. It's an illegal block against Tupper Lake. And that's the way the first half is going to come to a close with the penalty. Saranac Lake jumps on the board twice on their first 2 offensive series, and they lead at the half by a score of 14-0. Zach and I are going to take a little bit of a break. We'll rejoin you for the second half in the third quarter. The Redskins 14, Tupper Lake nothing. High school football continues on Adelphia Cable at the third quarter. We'll see you then. Half of JV high school football on Adelphia Cable from Len Perry Field in Tupper Lake. And after the first half of play, Saranac Lake on the board, 14 points, 14-0 over the Tupper Lake Lumberjacks. And not a lot of offense in that first half. Saranac Lake had 3 offensive series. Tupper Lake had only 3. And most of it was ball control, take time off the clock. But for Tupper Lake, it didn't quite work out the way they had anticipated.
Well, right, but they really started in that second quarter. They really started pulling things together and playing a lot stronger than they had been. They've been playing stronger defense and offense, and once again, we'll see Matt Burns with the kick.
Yep. Saranac Lake began this game offensively as they'll roll it to Pickering, but it's picked up by Fuller. Fuller stumbles a little bit, and that's going to be the story of the second half right there. Keep that one in mind, folks at home. This field is muddy, and this field has gotten much softer since the end of the second quarter, now into the third quarter.
It's warming up a bit, and it was already warm enough to keep it muddy out there. It's a little mucky, and you can see their jerseys already in their pants. It's getting worse.
So Saranac Lake defensively, Tupper Lake on the offense. First and 10 from their own 21-yard line. Wide receiver on the left-hand side is Sean Savard. He's number 89. Fuller is moved to the right-hand side. Wide receiver, they fumble the snap. See how this pile unravels. Saranac Lake indicates as though they don't have the football, and I think that's it. Tupper Lake, second down play coming up.
No gain, second down and 10 for the Lumberjacks.
Ball slippery, it's hard. Feels in relatively good shape. I mean, you see the mud. Yeah, considering, what we're having for weather. In the length of the season, Fuller wide receiver, actually the flanker on the right-hand side. Savard on the left-hand side. They'll move a man into motion, Arsenal, but as he goes into motion, a couple of players on the offensive line, Tupper Lake, they're in motion as well, illegal procedure. Now, the moment we say it warms up, then the snow starts to fall a little bit more and the wind picks up again.
Well, I know. That's why I got my hat.
That is one heck of a hat.
Folks at home can't see it, thank God.
Somebody is missing a cat in Tupper Lake now. Zach went out hunting halftime. A very long second down play coming up. Second down of 16, Tupper Lake. They'll try to run it around the end. Nothing there.
Speaking of hunting, they got 3 men on the tackle on that one. Very good pursuit. Nice tackle. A lot of people in on it. That's what you like to see.
Arsenault, the carry for the Lumberjacks. From their own 21-yard line, they'll lose another yard. It's going to be third down 15, Tupper Lake. Not quite the way they wanted to come out of the halftime locker room. Our varsity game is coming right up immediately following this one, so stay tuned to Adelphia Cable. The Division II title, Mayor's Cup, is on the line in that one. They will run the pitch. That's Hayes. Hayes looking to turn the corner, pick up some positive yardage, but he's only going to pick up 2, maybe 3, and Tupper Lake's going to have to kick.
Quite a bit of speed on that. We haven't seen a whole lot of speed by a Tupper Lake offense, but he really turned it on there, trying to get that first down that they desperately needed, and of course not making it.
So far, the main threat on the run has been the quarterback, Casey Pickering. He's run a pair of options, and he's got 28 yards. So fourth down from Tupper Lake's 24-yard line. They're forced to kick. Whitman will handle that duty for the Lumberjacks. Roberts, high snap. Whitman fields it over his shoulder. Left-footed kicker. He had a tough time getting that one off. It is going to take a Tupper Lake roll. However, it's going to benefit the Redskins because it's deep in Tupper Lake's defensive end at the Lumberjacks' 45-yard line.
The snap will keep Saranac Lake in the Tupper Lake side of the field, as it didn't quite break the 50-yard line.
So Tupper Lake first and 10 on the Lumberjacks' 45, 46-yard line. You see a couple of the players coming over to a heater. They've got one of those boosters.
That's kind of clever.
Yeah, that's kind of clever, kind of nice. And also they've set up a heater on one of the benches as well, so at least the metal portion of the bench is warm to help them out. I don't think Saranac Lake on the far side of the field has the same luxury. That's Roberts. Roberts up the middle. Roberts into the secondary. Still on his feet. He's got 3, 4, 5 tacklers on him before he is brought down. And finally, Jason Ham is able to drag him down to the ground. What a great run by Roberts.
Still able to run with 3 tacklers. They get a 4th tackler, and he's still inching his way towards it. A 5th tackler has to come in to finally take him down to stop that drive. Incredible run.
On the Lumberjack 26-yard line, first and 10, Saranac Lake. Wishbone formation, double tight end set. Lapierre has only put the ball in the air once. That was to end the first half. It was intercepted. That's Burns up the middle. Burns trying to fight for the yardage, and Peter Lemire is the first tackler for Tupper Lake in on the play. He will pick up 5 on the carry. Second down, 5 from the Lumberjacks' 21-yard line. What a great 1-2 punch for Saranac Lake offensively with Roberts and Burns. And then you've even throwing Finnegan into the mix as well. He's picked up some positive yardage.
They really haven't dominated the game with one runner. They have shuffled it around quite a bit.
There goes Roberts. He is met at the line of scrimmage, and he is stopped right there. Sean Savard, the tackler for the Lumberjacks.
Number 89, John Savard on the stop. Loss on the play.
See if they move that chain back, the marker back. They're going to move it back 1 yard. That's a loss of 1. Third and 6, Saranac Lake. That's the key to stopping the running play. Get into the backfield. Clog up the line of scrimmage. Tupper Lake was successful that time. 6:13 to go in the third quarter. Still 14-0 Redskins over the Lumberjacks. Wishbone formation once again. Roberts. Oh, he breaks 1 tackle. Now turns the corner, and he's going to pick up a first down and a little bit more. And he is knocked out of bounds. He may have been knocked out of bounds outside the 10-yard line.
Matt Burns running for the block, got a little tripped up, and you could see the runner ran right into the back of him, so he broke to the left, did a little bit of wheeling and dealing, and managed to get 10 yards out of it.
And they're going to mark the ball just outside the 10. So first and 10 for Saranac Lake. They'll have to reach about the 1-2 foot mark
Down and
of the
10
goal
for
line for a
Redskins
first and goal to go.
on their Lumberjack 11-yard line.
First down and 10 from just outside the 10-yard line, Saranac Lake. They'll hand it off up the middle. That's Burns. He'll pick up a couple of yards, 2nd and 8.
Stop on the play by number 30, Brendan Hayes, number 44, Tim Arsenal.
Another
42,
time-consuming drive for the Redskins. Had the ball for more than 3.5 minutes.
Really, time has been flying this game. It's certainly, I didn't expect it. I really didn't think it had gone that fast already.
Tupper Lake had the ball for 1 minute and 31 seconds. We're now down to 5:20 the play in the third quarter. With the ball on the ground, the clock just continues to roll. 2nd and 8, Saranac Lake. That is Roberts. Roberts trying to fight his way through a couple of tackles, but he can't do it. Tackle made by number 61. That is Corey Cody.
Cody on the stop. There's up of 1. It'll be 3rd down.
So 3rd and a long 7 for Saranac Lake. Just outside the 7-yard line of Tupper Lake. Say it again, this is for the CVAC, the section title, JV title. Saranac Lake would love to hold on to it for another year. Tupper Lake would like to take it away from them. They did so 2 years ago. 3rd down, long 7. Lapierre to Roberts. Around the end he goes, and he scores from 7 yards out. Roberts scores his 2nd touchdown of the game.
From 6 yards
And Saranac Lake now leads by a score of 20-0.
Saranac Lake on their first 2 touchdowns tried the 2-point conversion. One successful and the second was not. It'd be interesting to see if they're going to kick it or if they're going to go with the 2-point conversion again. And once again, if they do kick it, are they going to use Burns, who's been kicking exclusively for them today, or are they going to use someone else?
Jay Harvey's been a place kicker as well, number 87, and that's who they bring out. So Harvey will set the tee down. However, it's not going to be a given.
Not necessarily. A lot of trick plays on the Saranac Lake offensive handbook.
Lapierre is going to hold. We have seen Burns hold through the season. Lapierre sets for the snap, and there's a timeout on the field. There's a penalty, delay a game call against the Saranac Lake Redskins. I'm not quite sure if they didn't get their kicking team out in time, or maybe that was by design by Coach Hayden to set up the 2-point conversion.
Well, and interestingly enough, when it's always smart to have your quarterback hold the ball for the kicker. Then if you got trouble, you've always got a good passer right there. You can get some, you always have your ends running in a pattern.
Lapierre again to hold. Harvey to set up for the point after try, 5 yards longer. Ball is down, kick is up, and the kick is going to be short. So the score is going to remain 20-0. Saranac Lake over Tupper Lake with 4:35 to go in the third quarter. That's going to be tough to do with the weather conditions. It has warmed up a little bit, though.
Warmed up, the snow's calmed down. The field's drying off a bit. Well, it's probably getting a little more moist as the snow melts.
Yep. Let's see, we have Pickering back deep as well as number 33 for Tupper Lake, Jason Fuller. Matt Burns tees it up on the 40-yard line. $20-0 the score, 4:35 to go in the third quarter. Here's the kick by Burns, end over end. Pickering will pick it up from his 27 to the 30 to the 35 and still on his feet and stopped at his own 41-yard line. Kirk Sullivan, 85, makes the tackle on the special teams for Saranac Lake.
You can see Saranac Lake's big linemen coming on the field. They got a series of large linemen and tackles and guards to hold up the line and stop the play as much as they can.
1st and 10 for Tupper Lake. They need to get on the board. This is a very critical drive for the Lumberjacks. 1st and 10 from their own 41. Fuller is the wide receiver on the right-hand side. They're going to run it up the middle. Nothing there. Brendan Hayes was met rather rudely at the defensive line of scrimmage. An injured player down for the Redskins.
Stop on the play by number 78.
Is that Corey Strack?
Corey Strack.
Yeah, Corey Strack is the player that's shaken up, the one who made the tackle.
Well, it wasn't really much of a tackle that I saw. Hayes looked like he was running with his head down, trying to break through the hole, and kind of bumped his head into Strack. Kind of fell over backwards. But
Big play by Strack. That's a loss of a yard. 2nd and 11, Redskins. With Fuller, again the wide receiver, now lined up as the flanker. They're going to move a man into motion. That is 42 Arsenault. They're going to try to run a misdirection. Tupper Lake, nothing there. Absolutely nothing there, and it's closed up quickly by the Redskins.
Speaking of misdirection, John, I'm not sure what he thought he was doing. He looked a little confused out there, running left, right, and not really being very decisive about where he wanted to run.
Going to lose a couple of more yards. 3rd down, 13, Tupper Lake, from their own 39-yard line. That was not the play designed in the book.
I hope not.
Because Gurn, by the way, made the tackle. See where they line up Fuller this time. Fuller, the flanker. Arsenault is the fullback. They're going to try to run it up the middle once again, and that's Fuller, the counter play. Fuller's going to pick up 5, maybe 6 yards. He'll pick up 6 yards on the carry to the 45, but that's going to be well short of the first down. 4th down and 6 for Tupper Lake.
4th down
and they're going to be forced to kick once again.
From their own 45-yard line.
Redskins defense has just been controlling the line of scrimmage. Pickering, the quarterback, has really been the only runner to find any room in the secondary for the Lumberjacks. Had a 16-yard game so far, the longest run from the line of scrimmage for Tupper Lake. Beautiful kick, a high spiral, and it's going to take a Tupper Lake roll to the Redskins' 21-yard line. 1st and 10 coming up for the Redskins from their own 21-yard line, end of the field.
We're talking to the Redskins now.
Tupper Lake 36-yard line. If it's against Tupper Lake, you got to wonder if Coach Hayden will decide to have that ball kicked again. A legal procedure that's got to go against Tupper Lake, and it does. The Redskins have decided that they want to decline the penalty. It's going to be 1st and 10 from their own 21.
1st down and 10 from their own 22-yard line.
22-yard line, 1st and 10. 20-0, the Redskins leading Tupper Lake. 2:18 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Giving them the ball back on the 4th, though, that's a little risky, don't you think? They've got the ball. They're safe on the 22.
Safe on the 22. You don't know what's going to happen as they pitch it out to Roberts. Roberts finds a great block and a great hole. What a block by Matt Burns, number 44. Roberts picks up 3 on the carry.
Ryan Roberts stop on the play by number 64, Peter Lemire.
That was a dandy of a block, and that really created that inside hole for Roberts to find as Matt Burns pushed his tackle, his block all the way out towards the inside line.
Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough. There were also 2 other pursuers there that we were unable to block.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7, Saranac Lake. From their 24-yard line. Finnegan, Roberts, the tailbacks in the wishbone formation. Matt Burns is the fullback. That's Burns up the middle, and Burns to the 25, to the 26. Gain of 3 more yards.
Stop on the play, number 64, Peter Lemire, number 64.
3rd and along 4 for Saranac Lake.
3rd down and 4.
And one more fast quarter, as we've only got 1 minute left to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Macy, wide receiver, or the tight end on the right-hand side. Double tight end set. Wishbone formation. Lapierre sets them down. That is Finnegan. Finnegan's still on his feet, but Zach, I think he's going to be short of the 1st down. First player there for Tupper Lake on the tackle was Eric Whitman, number 31. 4th down play. He appears well short of the 1st down.
Make it 5 yards for the Redskins.
4th down and a very short 1 for the Redskins, but they are going to kick.
Number 33, Jason Fuller, kicking off, or punting for the Redskins. Number
Back
44,
deep
Matt
is number
Burns.
33, Jason Fuller. That's Burns with the punt. There's a good punt, end over end. From the 48, he can't handle it. They're scrambling for the football, And Fuller is able to gather it up. That was a dangerous play. Chris Kasler picked up the loose football for Saranac Lake.
Well, yeah, a lot of speed on that. He got there just in time as the ball was coming down, and he dropped the ball. Kasler almost had it. Knocked it back into his hands, unfortunately.
Good field position for the Lumberjacks. They'll start this drive from their own 47. Saranac Lake defense, as they've been doing all season, pitching a shutout. They've been scored upon once. That was a couple of weeks ago against Ticonderoga. Savard is the wide receiver on the right-hand side. And that looks like a broken play. Arsenault just trying to find some room to weave in and out of. And that's the way the third quarter will come to a close, with Saranac Lake leading Tupper Lake a score of 20-0 as we move into the fourth and a final quarter. The opposite, we put 20 points on the board. We're throwing a shutout. Defense, it's time for you to step up. The offense has done the job. Let's come away from the Len Perry Field with a win and the JV title.
And they're going to want the shutout. I think it was strange that they gave their one touchdown away to Ticonderoga, a team that really didn't seem to deserve it. As you saw, the score was quite extensive.
But it was the second team defense against the first team offense.
Which is always a consideration too.
Well, setting the table for the fourth quarter, 20-0, Saranac Lake over Tupper Lake. And the winner of this game will win the CVAC JV title. Saranac Lake comes away victorious. It will be their second consecutive. Tupper Lake can put at least 21 points on the board. They'll win their second in 3 years. They'll give it off to Arsenault, up the middle, following the fake. Arsenault to the 46-yard line.
Third down and 4 for the Lumberjacks.
3rd and 4 for Tupper Lake. Pickering's a little razzle-dazzle there, but Saranac Lake really didn't bite on it. They'll move Fuller, wide receiver, to the right-hand side. Savard is now the tight end on the left-hand side. Arsenault, the flanker, as they pitch it off to Hayes. Hayes trying to find some room. Hayes has got to get close to the 41-yard line, and I think he did. I think he picked up the first down. Looks like as though it's a gain of 5 yards.
He's close to a first down.
The officials are indicating first down. He did pick up 5 yards on the carry. Took a little bit for the officials to determine.
Yeah, it was a close one, but not close enough. Well, not close enough.
That is the 5th first down of the game for Tupper Lake. They had 3 in their second to last series in the second quarter. Arsenault, the fullback, Hayes, the flanker, misdirection once again as they run it for Fuller, and he loses his footing in the backfield. He's going to lose at least 2 yards.
And once again, weather conditions and field conditions playing an important part in this game. That's the second time we've seen that particular thing happen today. The first was on a kickoff return.
Right, and it was Fuller on the first play as well. 2nd and 12, Tupper Lake. From their 43-yard line, from Saranac Lake's 43-yard line. Crowd is really beginning to filing in. It's going to swell during the varsity game. Tupper Lake is excited about the contest coming up next. Pickering back to pass, and it's knocked away by Ty LeClaire. The intended receiver was Brendan Hayes. Ty LeClaire was with him step for step. There was no place to throw that football. That one was fortunate it wasn't intercepted.
Yeah, it certainly was. Ty LeClaire could have easily broken in front of him, gotten the football, and tried to run for the touchdown. He had a lane.
He did have a lane. 3rd down, 3rd and 12 for Tupper Lake. It's the 3rd time we've seen the Lumberjacks throw the football. Saranac Lake threw it once. That was to close out the first half, intercepted. 3rd down and a very long 12 for the Lumberjacks. They're going to try to the misdirection again, and there's a fumble with Brendan Hayes. To try to run the reverse that time. They try to run it to Jason Fuller, who is coming across the field, but the loss of 5 yards. 4th and 17. Tupper Lake's going to kick once more.
Tupper Lake's offensive drive slowly deteriorating, actually very quickly deteriorating on that play.
So from the Redskins 49, Tupper Lake will kick once more. Eric Whitman will handle that chore. On his own 20-yard line is Matt Burns, number 44 for the Redskins. Redskins trying to draw Tupper Lake offsides, high snap. Whitman, left-footed kicker, gets it off. Burns is going to let it bounce right into his chest from the 21 to the 30. Still on his feet to the 33-yard line and finally stopped. Brendan Hayes makes the tackle for Tupper Lake. Lapierre, the quarterback. They run it up the middle. Redskins have been successful. Matt Burns with the carry to the 40, outside the 40-yard line to the 41. That's going to be a gain of 6.
You see on the line there created quite a hole for him to run through. Unfortunately, since he is the lead blocker, there was no one really to block for him besides that. Once he got through, the linebackers had him.
They've really done nothing fancy on the line of scrimmage. It's been pretty much a straight ahead. Here's your assignment, block him, and let the running backs find the holes.
Which is pretty much just the opposite with Tupper Lake. We've seen them try some counters, some reverses, and a lot of broken plays with misdirection.
2nd and 4, Saranac Lake. Up the middle once more. And that's going to be a first down run for number 29, and that's Ryan Roberts. Roberts picks up 5 on the carry. First down, moves the chains forward, 10 more yards. The clock continues to roll with 6:53 to go. I don't know if it's really important for Saranac Lake to score on this drive. If they can pick up maybe 2-3 more first downs, that'll be enough to bring the clock down to a comfortable margin for the Redskins.
Well, if they can get the clock down and get the ball on the other end of the field so that Tupper Lake doesn't have great field position.
Lapierre hands it off to Roberts. Roberts around the end. And Roberts will pick up 5 more yards on that carry.
Carry by number 29, Ryan Roberts, stopped by number 42.
On the Lumberjacks 48-yard line. 2nd and 5, Redskins.
Pick up a 5, 2nd down and 5 for the Redskins.
Good old smash mouth football.
Good old smash mouth icicle football.
It really is. Every once in a while, for like 5 minutes or so, it seems as though it's warming up a little bit. Then the wind comes back. The wind is at our back. Chris Lapierre cannot handle the snap.
Maybe a fumble.
He fumbles the snap. They're going to unravel the pile, and Saranac Lake will come away with it as Lapierre was able to regather it. So 3rd down and 5, no loss of yardage. However, the loss of the down for the Redskins. They did say by the end of this afternoon that we could see, maybe 3 or 4 more inches of snow.
Did they? Seriously?
I'm serious.
Well, the snow looks like it's slowed down. I don't want to hear anything like that.
I formation, Saranac Lake. They'll give it to the tailback, met in the backfield, and that is Eric Whitman. He'll throw the Redskins runner for a loss of 3 yards. 4th and 8. And the ball is marked at midfield at the 50.
Right at midfield.
See if Hayden will decide to kick this time. He will, as Burns will drop back. He'll punt it away for the Redskins.
With just under 5 minutes left in the game.
That's Fuller. He'll be at his own 20-yard line. Burns has gotten off some pretty good kicks so far this morning. That's another good one. Bounces at the 23. Fuller's going to let it fall out of bounds inside the 20 at the Lumberjack 18-yard line.
And the weather conditions that have been very aggressive, as well as field conditions. They've got a lot of mud. They've had a lot of problems with it. You're seeing broken plays because of cold hands dropping the football, and their feet are sliding in the mud, as we've seen also.
4:31 to go.
A lot to work against.
Double tight end set. I formation. Tupper Lake up the middle. Fuller on his feet. Fuller to the 20, to his own 21-yard line.
By number 33, Jason Fuller.
Nice little gain of 4 yards. 2nd and 6, Tupper Lake.
2nd down and 6 for the Lumberjacks.
Tupper Lake varsity They'll play host to Saranac Lake right after this contest, and then after that game, it's on to the Class D state playoffs. Had a chance to speak with Coach Cavallero a little while ago, and that was really the goal. He thought that he had the talent this season to make it into Class D playoffs, and that's what they set their sights for, and they were able to accomplish that goal. Arsenault, the carry for Tupper Lake, to the 25-yard line. A gain of 4 more yards. Third down and a short 2 for Tupper Lake.
Of course, that varsity game usually brought to you at 1:30. It's a special Mayor's Cup game. It will be brought 1 hour later. At 2:30, we'll be starting that game. If I'm correct.
Yep.
You're looking.
No, I'm just cold. I got this look when I'm cold.
That's the cold look.
That's the cold look. Slant formation in the backfield. Tupper Lake. They try to run it up the middle again. This time they're successful with Hayes. Hayes is going to pick up the first down, and he's finally stopped at his 34-yard line.
Hayes finally buckling down after a lot of difficulty he's had running the ball for the Tupper Lake offense.
Clark makes the tackle for the Redskins.
And of course, Tupper Lake is down to 3 minutes.
Yeah, this one just about over right now. Saranac Lake
20-point deficit, yeah.
Yeah, can taste their second consecutive JV title at this point. They're going to run the counter, the misdirection again. That's Fuller. Fuller turns the corner. Fuller to midfield to the 45-yard line. That's the first time it's worked for Tupper Lake, and it worked very well. That's a gain of 9 yards on the carry, 1st and 10 from the Lumberjacks 45.
Well, if you were looking closely at that, they caught Saranac Lake very much off guard. What happened was Saranac Lake defense just was not set as the hut was given. And he went down as the hut was given, and he went down way too late because he had no chance to get off the ball on time.
First down run, chain set, 1st and 10. And no, nobody's going to go. I thought for a moment the officials were indicating a timeout, but nope, no timeout. From the Lumberjack 45-yard line, first down play. They hand it off to Hayes. Hayes off tackle, right-hand side. Hayes battling for that yardage, and Hayes to midfield, 5-yard gain.
Brings the ball up to midfield.
That was all his effort right there.
It really was. He wheeled and dealed and made it around about 3 tacklers.
Well, for the Redskins, they're going to win their second consecutive JV title. They took it away from Tupper Lake for this season. And 2 years ago, very same field, very same circumstances, Tupper Lake able to win the JV title and snap a winning streak of 53 games that Saranac Lake once carried. Up the middle, that's a brand new ball carrier. That is Tom Larkin. And he's going to be stopped at the Redskins 45-yard line. That should be enough for a first down. And it is, as the ball is resting comfortably on the Redskins 45, gain of 5, first down.
At the 45-yard line of the Redskins, first down and 10.
I do like this field. I'm going to miss this field. Next season, Tupper Lake is going to play their contest Friday night under the lights at the elementary school. It's got a great feel with a stone wall around. Up the middle once more, Tupper Lake. That is Dupas. He's to the 40-yard line.
Handoff to number 43, Cookie Dupree.
Dupree with the carry. We're approaching the 1 minute mark.
Second down and 3.
Everybody's getting an opportunity to play in this one on both sides of the football now. Both coaches are shuffling reserves in and out. Savard, wide receiver, right side. Power I formation. They'll pitch it again to Dupree. Dupree cannot handle the flip to him. He'll have to fall on the football. He'll lose a few yards on that carry. And he'll lose it just outside the 40. Third down and 7. Tupper Lake from the Redskins 40-yard line. Final few clicks left in the JV high school football season, where the Redskins go undefeated at 9-0. Tupper Lake, they suffer 2 losses.
Hand off to Adam Baldwin.
Another loss. Baldwin, the ball carrier for Tupper Lake. The final 10 seconds. You can hear the Saranac Lake fans count it down from 10. And that's it. The Redskins able to defend their JV title with a 20-0 win over the Tupper Lake Lumberjacks, 9-0. The Redskins run the season. Tupper Lake, they're 7-2 with the loss to Peru, and now the loss to the Saranac Lake Redskins. But it was a very good football game.
It really was. Tupper Lake put up a lot of trouble for Saranac Lake there at the end of the first half, as well as during the third quarter. You saw a lot of difficulty for Saranac Lake. As a matter of fact, they didn't put anything on the scoreboard this last quarter.
I think the teams in the next few years who think they're going to be able to come to Tupper Lake or host the Lumberjack football program and pad their schedule or pad the left side with a win, they're going to have some surprises in store. This is a program that's up and coming, and they're excited about the new field, they're excited about these kids, and they're excited about the varsity kids that will play later on this afternoon.
And of course, later this afternoon, they will be going on to the Class D Championship.
So Zach and I are going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to rejoin you with the varsity clash, the Redskins and the Lumberjacks for the Division II title, as well as the Mayor's Cup. Once again, the final in the JV contest, 20-0. Saranac Lake over Tupper Lake, and Saranac Lake retains their JV CVAC title. For Zach Yalzi, I'm John Lundeen for Adelphia Cable Sports.